$1 trillion was wiped from software stocks because of one simple realization. AI agents don't need seats. The per-seat pricing model that built the entire SaaS industry is dying. So if you're building a SaaS product in 2026, how do you actually price it? Today, I'm going to show you what's replacing per seat using real examples from my own products and the one pricing decision that might be the bottleneck stopping your SaaS from scaling. If you don't know me, my name is Sean, and I've spent 15 years building bootstrap SaaS businesses, and now I help founders like you succeed in building yours. Now, before we talk about what's replacing per-seat pricing, let's make sure everyone understands what per-seat actually means and why it dominated the industry for nearly 20 years. Per-seat pricing is pretty simple. You charge a monthly fee for every person who uses your software. So if you charge $50 per seat and a company that uses your software has 100 employees, then they pay $5,000 a month to maintain access to your product. Now, if they hire more people, your revenue goes up. If they shrink, your revenue goes down. This model powered the entire SaaS industry for 2 decades. Salesforce built a $300 billion company on top of it. And it worked perfectly in a world where more employees meant more software usage. The math was clean. More people, more seats, more revenue. But that world doesn't exist anymore. So what's changed? Well, 2 words: artificial intelligence, or AI. Let me show you the math that broke the per-seat model. Imagine you sell customer support software at $50 per seat. A company with 100 support agents pays you $5,000 a month. Then they deploy an AI agent that handles 80% of their support tickets. Now, they don't need 100 human support agents anymore. They probably need more like 20. As such, your revenue just dropped 80% from $5,000 to $1,000. Not because your software got worse, not because the customer is unhappy. Your revenue dropped because AI made your customer more efficient. The better AI gets, the fewer seats your customers need, and the less they pay you. That's a pricing model at war with itself. The market is already moving. Seat-based pricing adoption dropped from 21% to 15% in just 12 months. Hybrid models at the same time jumped from 27% to 41%. Gartner predicts 70% of businesses will prefer usage-based pricing over per seat by the end of 2026. This shift isn't coming, it's already here. So per seat pricing is dying. Now the question is, what do you replace it with? Before we get into specific models, there's one number you need to calculate first. Get this wrong and no pricing model will save you. That number is your customer's ROI, or return on investment. In 2026, ROI is more important than ever. Your customers are being squeezed. Enterprise vendors are raising renewal prices 10 to 20% annually. Budgets are tight, and AI is raising expectations. So if your pricing doesn't make obvious financial sense to the customer, they're going to demand more, or leave. You need to know 3 things. First, what does your product save or earn your customer? You need to know this in dollars per month. For Clockless, the legal SaaS app I'm building in public, it's recovered billable time. A small law firm losing 10 to 50% of billable revenue at $300 an hour is leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table every month. Second, what do you charge? And third, what's the ratio between those 2 numbers? For example, if Clockless recovers $5,000 in lost billing and charges $99 a month, that's a 50x ROI. That's a no-brainer purchase. The customer is never going to question that invoice. If you can't articulate your customer's ROI clearly, you're not ready to price appropriately. Do the math first. Now that you know your numbers, let's look at the 3 pricing models that are replacing per seat. The first one is consumption pricing, and I'll use a real example from my own product to tell you more about how this works. FlashQoE is a product I built for financial due diligence assessments. It charges per report generated. You need a quality assessment? Buy a report. Need a lot of them? Buy a block at a volume discount. That's it. No monthly fee, no seats. You only pay for what you use. This works for 3 reasons. First, the customer only pays when they're getting value. There's 0 waste. They never look at their bill and wonder if they're getting their money's worth. Every dollar corresponds to a report they actually needed. Second, volume discounts incentivize larger purchases, which improves your cash flow. Third, when someone buys a block of 50 reports at a discount, they're essentially pre-committing to that product, and that's retention built into pricing. Consumption pricing works best when your product delivers discrete, countable units of value. Reports, analyses, transactions, documents processed. If you can count the output, you can charge relative to that output. The second model is one everyone knows: subscription pricing. It's not dead, but in 2026, the expectations and rules around it have changed. Subscription pricing still works when the value is continuous. For Clockless, the tool monitors meetings and billing activity every day. It's always working in the background, recovering lost time. A monthly subscription makes sense here because the value never stops. And the key is the ratio. The subscription has to be a trivially small amount compared to the value delivered. So if Clockless recovers $5,000 a month in lost billing and charges $99 a month for access to the software, that's less than 2% of the value. The customer never thinks about canceling that. Now, compare that to a product charging $500 a month that delivers $600 in value. That's a 1.2x ROI. The customer scrutinizes every invoice. They demand more features. They churn at the first opportunity. Keep the ratio dramatic. 10x ROI should be the minimum goal, and the higher, the better. The third model is where the industry is likely heading, and it combines the best elements of the first two. Hybrid pricing means a base platform fee for access and core features, plus a consumption layer for variable usage. 43% of SaaS companies already use hybrid models, and adoption is projected to hit 61% by the end of 2026. The reason it's growing so fast is it gives you the best of both worlds: predictable base revenue from the subscription plus expansion revenue from usage growth. Light users pay the base, heavy users pay more, and they're happy to, because more usage means more value. For example, you could charge $49 a month as a platform fee, then charge per AI analysis, per report generated, or per action completed above a certain threshold. The consumption component should feel fair, not punitive. Your customers should want to use it more because every use creates value for them. All right, you've picked your model. Now the question that trips up more founders than anything else is, do you offer a free tier, a trial, or neither? I'll be honest, I'm not big on free tiers. A free tier attracts users who don't want to pay. They fill up your support queue, they rarely convert, and they give you misleading engagement metrics. A trial is different. A trial creates urgency and signals that the product has value worth paying for. But here's the nuance. For FlashQoE, I give one report away for free, just one. I didn't do this originally, but then I kept hearing the same objection over and over. People said they couldn't evaluate the product without seeing a detailed report first. The report is the product. If they couldn't see one, they couldn't make a buying decision. So I added one free report per new account. Not a free tier, a sample. One taste so that they can see what they'd be paying for. That single change removed the evaluation barrier and enabled me to get more users and customers. The FlashQoE story taught me the most important lesson about SaaS pricing. And spoiler alert, it's not about which model to pick. Think of pricing as finding and eliminating the bottleneck to scale. The bottleneck for FlashQoE wasn't awareness. It wasn't product quality. It was that prospects couldn't see the output before paying. One free report eliminated that bottleneck and unlocked greater conversions. For your product, the bottleneck might be different. Maybe nobody signs up because they can't see a demo. Maybe they sign up but churn because the pricing doesn't align with their usage. Maybe they love the free tier but never convert because there's no urgency. Whatever it is, your pricing strategy should be laser focused on eliminating that specific bottleneck. Don't copy someone else's free tier strategy. Diagnose your bottleneck and design a better pricing model to remove it. Let me wrap all of this up into a simple framework. 4 questions to help you decide how to price your SaaS. Question 1. Is your value discrete or continuous? If discrete, like reports, analyses, or transactions, lean towards consumption. If continuous, like monitoring, automation, or daily workflows, lean towards subscription. Question 2. What's your customer's ROI? Calculate it. If you can't, you're not ready to price. Aim for 10 times ROI minimum. Question 3. What's the bottleneck to your first 100 customers? Design your trial, free sample, or pricing page to eliminate that specific bottleneck. Question 4. Would your customer feel penalized for using your product more? If yes, your pricing model is wrong. More use should always mean more value, for them and for you. Answer those 4 questions and you'll know exactly how to price. One last thing before we go. You may not realize it yet, but you are perfectly positioned to crush this right now. The enterprise incumbents are stuck. They have millions of customers on per-seat contracts they can't easily change. Every pricing adjustment is a board-level decision with quarter-over-quarter of revenue implications. You have none of that baggage. As a bootstrapped founder, you can design the right pricing model from day one. No legacy contracts, no investor pressure to maintain seat counts, no board meeting. You can pick consumption, subscription, hybrid, whatever fits your customer's value delivery best. That flexibility is your superpower. I've created a free customized guide for you that you can follow along with so that you can figure out exactly how to price your SaaS product. Gain access to it via the link in the description below. I'm Sean. This is Bootstrapper's Paradise. Remember, price for value, not for seats, and I'll see you in the next one.